Okay, it's 10:01, so we will go ahead and get started. Thank you for all of you for being here. My name is Shebra Kalantari Johnson. I'm a member of Impact Launch. I'm going to pause and let Maribel interpret, and then we will, for those of you who want to use interpretation, we are going to turn that feature on.
Ok, Shebra se está presentando, Shebra Caltari Johnson, les da la bienvenida y les informa también que ya vamos a iniciar con la interpretación simultánea para que elijan el botón. Muchas gracias.
Okay, great. So we'll go ahead and use the interpretation feature. As you can see, there's a globe down there. You could click on it and choose which language you want to participate in. So please go ahead and do that. All right. And I see that Maribel is now in the Spanish room. Okay, wonderful. All right, you are here to learn more about radical transformational leadership and RTL impact. So we're going to launch in and share more with you momentarily. I'd like to invite members of our team to introduce themselves. Megan, Robin, Micheline, please go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Megan. It's wonderful to be here with all of you.
Good morning. My name is Robin. Great to see you all.
Wonderful.
Good morning. My name is Micheline. Nice to see you all.
Wonderful. And we have some alumni who are here who will share their experiences. If you can introduce yourselves. Saki.
Aloha. Good morning. My name is Saki.
Great. Okay. All right. So before we get started, we want to find out a little bit more about you. So we have a Zoom poll that we're going to launch right now and share with us what brought you here today. So you should see that on your screen, what brought you here today. And you can pick as many as is relevant to you. Just take like 30 seconds. All right. Okay, let's see the results. Okay, the winner is, I want to learn how this program can support me and or my team to create greater impact. Great. Well, that's one thing we hope that you will walk away with. I've heard a lot about this program before and want to learn more. I've heard a little bit about this program, want to learn more. Okay, so some of you heard a lot, some of you heard a little. Interested in hearing about the results generated by practitioners of this social change approach. That's wonderful because we have that for you as well. You will hear from alumni of the program and what they've done in the communities that they work in with these tools. And if there's others, yeah, please share in chat if there's other reasons. Oh, thank you. I am being told to slow down. When you see this, just so you all know, that means the speaker is speaking too fast. So we're not playing like shadow puppets with our hands. That is a signal to me to slow down. Okay, so great. You are all here for the right reasons. We are here to share information with you and hope that you walk away with more knowledge about the program and get your questions answered. So I think with that, I will pass it on to Megan.
Wonderful. Thanks, Shebra. All right. So, Robin, I know you're ready to share slides. Love to have the second slide up. So welcome everyone. Megan with Impact Launch, and so excited that you're all here. We wanted to share just a few minutes about our journey and how we got here, and then we'll share more about the program and logistics. We'll have time for Q&A, we'll have time for testimonials, and we'll hear from the program founder, Dr. Monica Sharma as well about the foundations of this work. But just a quick personal story. I found this framework when I was a burnt out activist. I don't know if you can relate, but I was sick and tired, literally, of spinning my wheels and seeing people that deeply cared about results in the community spinning their wheels, frankly. And we were talking a lot about the change we wanted to see, but we weren't necessarily seeing the results that we thought we should be with, especially given how hard we were working. And this framework, when I met Dr. Monica Sharma, the founder, she helped me see that there could be this combination of what's truly needed to create change, which is inside out. Who are we as leaders? How are we showing up with a different awareness and perspective and tools and the depth that we need to navigate true change? With the practical tools of actually designing systems change and designing change within our organizations, our teams, our initiatives, the community at large, and how do we tie that to the bigger shifts in the society and the world that we want to see? And that's the beauty of both simplicity and complexity of this framework, is that it does all of that at once. And we'll hear a lot more about that. So in our journey, we started 10 years ago this month in Santa Cruz County with Leadership for Community Transformation. That's what it was called there. We have about 300 alumni there. We then moved to the Bay Area, and it was called Leadership for Equity and Opportunity. We now have about 1,500 alumni across the Bay Area and beyond. Monica published her book, Radical Transformational Leadership, about 5 or 6 years ago now, and that really launched an awareness. And we realized we needed to create a container that could hold this program and really support our alumni and organizations to do things differently. So we launched Impact Launch specifically to support that. We were in Marin County. We've got over 500 alumni in Marin. And then we launched our first national program a couple of years ago. And you are learning today about our second national program accessible to all communities. All right, next slide, Robin. Thank you. So really, RTL Impact, or Radical Transformational Leadership for Social Impact, is about doing things differently. And it is an online program in this format. It is a professional development program. It's also a personal transformation program. And it is part of the special sauce is that it is for everyone. It's not just for those with formal education or leadership roles or decision-making roles. It's not just for CEOs or executive directors. And it's not just for grassroots leaders either. It is literally meant to flatten the hierarchy from day one. And it's coming from the foundational concept that everyone who cares about creating change should have access to transformational tools to do so. And so this is about everyone, everywhere who cares about change being able to do so, and do so collaboratively and do so differently. Monica created this program and this framework out of the realization in her work with the United Nations that the complex social issues that our societies are facing are not just a policy issue or a decision-making issue, it's a leadership issue. It's how we show up and make decisions, the narratives that we choose to perpetuate or shift, and how people work together and are showing up is just as important as then the decisions that are based on that, if not more important. And so this framework brings together the best of leadership theory and leadership change work and systems change work, and distills it down to only those tools and frameworks that have actually been proven to create change on the ground in multicultural settings. And that's another really powerful tenet of this work. Nothing has been brought into this framework that hasn't actually created results with real people in real time. Next slide. Thank you. So a little bit more about the results, and you'll be hearing more about the specifics and specific projects momentarily. But we have done some evaluations of various cohorts in partnership with Informing Change, Marin Community Foundation, and others. And so just a snapshot, we've got a full report if anyone likes to dig into this kind of thing as we do. But we can see that from pre to post, there are significant increases in things like feeling like we have the courage to disrupt the status quo, feeling empowered to take action on equity-related issues, courageous action related to my equity work, and knowing how to take action toward aligned equity efforts. This specific cohort was in Marin. Next slide. We'll see additional pre-post results, really significant results in having tools to address inequitable power dynamics, knowing how to design my projects to generate equitable and sustainable change, knowing how to speak to inspire others into action. So some of the key tools that if you're in change work in communities you know are critical and are sometimes really difficult to get specific about, or to have a framework that creates that common language and practicality that we need, while also the transformation of showing up differently. All right, next slide. Okay, perfect. So we can stop sharing for now. And I'll just share a few more thoughts, and then I'll turn it over to some of our alumni, because it's one thing for all of us who are obviously very enrolled and bought in this and created this container to hold it, to say, come do this program. But we wanted to hear from some of our alumni as well. So we'll be talking more about logistics after you hear more about that. But we wanted to share that, one, it is virtual. We've designed it and redesigned it actually with input and feedback from our alumni, so that it's not as much screen time at once. Spanish interpretation is available, and all materials are translated. We're also really excited. Maribel, who's here and interpreting for us, did the hard lift of translating the entire Radical Transformational Leadership book into Spanish, and that'll be available for the first time this cohort. So we're also really excited about that opportunity. Yes, celebration. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to some of our alumni and Robin to introduce that, to share a little bit more from their perspective about how this work has helped impact their life and their work. Robin.
Thanks, Megan. And folks, if you're already having questions, you can start putting those in the chat, but we'll also have time at the end here for some discussion and questions. But we just want to kind of put it all out there and then talk with you all. So as Megan said, this work is an experience. This program's an experience, and practicing these tools is a powerful experience for most people that participate. I was one of those people that was in that very first cohort in Santa Cruz County 10 years ago, and it has changed the way that I approach my professional and personal life tremendously. And so we feel like it's really important for you all to hear from folks who have participated in the program and how they've applied, taken it from theory to practice, not at the end, but starting on day one, to really create results in the work and the things that we care deeply about. So first of all, I'd like to share a video from our friend and colleague and longtime alumni, Maria Elena de la Garza.
And I'm the Executive Director to the Community Action Board of Santa Cruz County. I was asked to share my experiences with radical transformational leadership, what my experiences have been, why I think this is a really incredible opportunity for anyone who is interested in creating shifts and change in your community, in your agency, and in your own leadership style. Many of our CAP leaders participated. I'm happy to report that many of those leaders are still at the agency, and that we have used this model and embedded it in the infrastructure of the work that we do, so that we continue to be effective, we continue to innovate, and we continue to grow. I would say that in my experience with this leadership model, with Impact Launch, what it offered to us as in the county was a common language to work with. It brought together a cross sector of community leaders, not just community-based organizations, but also, school districts, law enforcement partners, a business community, county government partners, city jurisdiction partners. Give us a common language, and that common language helped us to shape the vision for various initiatives responding to community needs. It helped us create the vision. It helped us create the plan. It helped us to create strategies to move initiatives forward. Having different systemic leaders in those conversations. It helped us manage conflict. It gave us tools to manage conflict, shake it up, and get unstuck, to be able to transition and transform systems. And what I loved most about it, that it is based in action. It's action oriented, and its most basic foundational roots are based on individual and collective values. Because if we know what we stand for individually and collectively, we understand our intentions, we understand what fuels us to move the mountains, and it helps to build trust within these different sectors in the community. That isn't just, as we would say in Cara y Corazón, it's not just head focused, it's heart focused and values focused. And that is the magic sauce of transformational change. So I encourage you to explore this opportunity because it changes you as an individual. It changes the agency or the organization that you represent. And ultimately, it changes the community so that community residents are supported and leading the efforts to succeed.
Thank you, Maria Elena. We really appreciate her sending in that video. And now I'm going to turn it over to our live sharing from Saki. Over to you.
Aloha! My name is Saki, and I care deeply for joy and full potential for all humans everywhere and in every moment. In this moment, I'm so tickled and delighted to be with you all, people who I don't know yet. It comes in the same day where I get to design and plan a curriculum for a project called the Kindness Project for Youth. I get to make a business phone call for my aging uncle today and to help for someone in need of help. And I have rehearsal with a dance company that I've been performing with for over 20 years. There are a myriad of events that happen in any 24-hour period. I'm sure you can think of 7 at the top of your list today. And my delight in my time and practice with radical transformational leadership has been to be able to bring my authentic self to every scenario, to be in practice, to give it a try in community of folks who care about that as well, who are in their journey of fullness, my full self in every aspect. So let's say professional workspace, some of my colleagues are 7 years old. So when I hear from others, this really is for everyone. It is for everyone in any moment and in any entry point. We are gifted with the opportunities for different entry points. My physical space, I've used some tools and templates for with the person I care about the most, sharing my space in decluttering. So who knows how and where this can show up, and I've just had experiences of layers and layers that are inspiring. That one other thing that keeps bringing me back. Today, this morning, later today, with a group of alumni, and in the setting of modules that are 6 months, perhaps a journey together that's 6 months long, is an appetite for learning and action from all of us. So, in such a short time to get to know folks in this way of change for how we would like to live and see the world. I would love to close by saying I have experienced creating lighter and more joyous work in all aspects, in being able to experience the greatness in each of us. So thanks for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Saki. All right, in our last sharing before we invite Monica Sharma, our founder of the program, to speak, we'll be sharing a video from our colleague and friend, Annabelle.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Annabelle Barrios, and I am a social impact consultant. I first became aware of radical transformational leadership about 10 years ago, and it has been an integral part of my life and my work ever since. As Dr. Monica Sharma would put it, principles without practices are rhetoric. Radical transformational leadership offers a framework with practical tools to act on the yearning to transcend polarization and unite partners for change on the basis of values that uplift everyone, leaving no one out. Here are 3 key things among many that I have learned as an RTL practitioner. 1, taking time to design breakthrough initiatives for enduring change ends up saving time, not wasting time. 2, routine everyday activities and tasks present opportunities for transformational change. The work is actually not about adding more to one's plate, but doing what we're already doing, but doing it differently for different results. 3, while we may intuit that our impact is greater through partnerships that are reciprocal or synergistic, identifying opportunities for synergistic efforts may not be intuitive. Concrete and accessible tools get us there, and RTL provides that. I said that RTL is an integral part of my personal life, and I say this because it's offered me a variety of tools to grow my self-awareness, act in integrity with what I deeply care about, and course correct when I am not. In essence, this work is not about convincing others to change, but rather to inspire them to act based on values that support a shared thriving and being willing to model that change over and over and over again. Thank you.
Thank you, Annabelle. All right. So before we turn it over to Monica, we have time for 1 or 2 questions now, and then we'll have more time at the end. Does anyone have a burning question, or not burning, just an itching question that you'd like to ask at this point? Good, that means that we've put everything that you need to know on our website, and we've already touched on everything. Well, keep those questions coming. Megan, you look like you're going to say something.
I can jump in with a few logistics.
Perfect.
Yeah. So let me bring that up. Robin, if you could share slide 8.
Mhm.
Perfect. So Monica will be joining us in just a few minutes, but I wanted to provide an overview of some of the logistics in case you're wondering what it takes to participate and the different ways that you can participate. So our website, and we can put that in chat as well, has everything pretty much, I think, that you would need to know about the program logistics, including how to apply. The website is also available all in Spanish, as is the application. Um, so the program schedule is here. Again, we have shortened the sessions to 2 days so that Zoom fatigue isn't quite as intense as when we used to do 3 days at a time. So we've spread it out over 5 months. So there's 1 2-day session a month for 5 months. Each session really focuses on a different aspect of the program, whether it's starting where we're standing, being the change, how do we show up differently, designing change for sustainable and equitable results. How do we then implement the change with others, make meaningful partnerships, collaborate differently, navigate challenges, barriers, breakdowns? How do we lead change? So sustaining it over time, empowering and leading others to lead, building capacity of our collaborations and partnerships, and then sustaining that change. How do we sustain the results that we care so deeply and have worked so hard to create? And every session has a little bit of all of those in it as well. So we don't just talk about being changed in the first session, you also get deeply into project design. But each session truly builds on the session previously. So the tools become this intricate mosaic or woven tapestry, we say, at the end, so that you have a blueprint for how to create change in the field that you are working in. Next slide, Robin. So there's a few ways that you can participate in the Radical Transformational Leadership cohort coming up. One is obviously we would love for you to participate as a leader and as a change maker. And again, we want to mention this is a learning and action program, meaning this isn't just about theory. We want you to apply it. This is about how do we do differently and act differently together for results. So how do we ensure that we are actually putting it into action? We have it be based on a project. So we ask that you come in and work in real time on a project. Some folks get a little intimidated by the word project, and the results that we've seen are at all different levels and scales. So we've seen folks create results at large scale initiatives that are countywide, regional, state, national, global. We've also seen people create incredible results within their teams, within their organizations, within their coalitions. The small, we always say it doesn't matter how big your project is how strategic is it? So we've seen the smallest practical shifts create huge results in the way people are designing and leading change. So don't be intimidated by the word project, or I invite you not to be, but to see that whatever you're doing now, whether it's your volunteer work or whatever your life's work is right now, your traditional day job, whatever it might be, there is work within that you can apply this to. And we are always happy to connect with you one-on-one and talk through project ideas if you're stuck on that point. So don't let that be a barrier. We are definitely here to support that, and register for RTL. Join us on this journey. It's really an incredible and transformational journey. The other way that we're inviting folks this year to participate and contribute is to become a language equity superstar, and to be acknowledged as a co-sponsor of Spanish interpretation and translation. We don't want to increase or pass along the cost of ensuring that equity and access is there into the tuition fee. So we really try to keep that reasonable and accessible. We provide some partial scholarships as much as we can. So we raise funds every year from our partners to ensure that we have the language equity piece in place and it's really high quality. All of our interpreters and translators are alumni of the program as well, so they have a deep understanding of what they're sharing. And we are looking for language equity superstars, contributors, co-sponsors as individuals or as organizations to be a part of that movement, to be a part of that initiative. And then help us support outreach. It's great to you can do this program as an individual alone. It's great to not go it alone. It's great to have a team of people, 2 or 3 others who are from your organization, so that you're not coming back and sharing ideas with folks that have no idea what you've just experienced, but that you can build the change together. So we really encourage folks from same communities, same teams, same organizations to participate in that way. And last slide before I hand it over to Monica. And we'll share this again at the end, but here registration is open. And you can go to that website again, it's in chat. And we would love to work with you to make it accessible and talk with us. If you have any questions about the details, we have different pricing plans based on the type of organization. We've got a special student rate as well. So we'd love to talk with you about how to make this program possible for you. So without further ado, more about what exactly is this program about, straight from the founder, Dr. Monica Sharma. She's the former Director of Leadership and Capacity Development for the United Nations. It's been my true honor of my life to work with her for the last 12 years or so. We are celebrating 10 years of the first cohort in the Bay Area this month. And we're just so honored, Monica, that you could carve out some time to be with us this morning and share more about the framework that you created. I'll pass it to you, Monica.
Thank you so much, Megan. And thank you, Robin and Micheline and everyone, Maribel, everyone I know on this Chebre. Oh God, I think I should just continue thanking everybody. I have a slightly hoarse throat. The good news is you will not get my virus because it's here. All right. Firstly, I love working with people who really have a passion for equity. And to me, that's you. That's been United Way. That's been the way, because that is something I cannot teach. I cannot open. Megan cannot open. That's you. So what's unique in this leadership program, as different from others, I will just highlight 5 points. The first is you matter. Your power on this planet matters. And you know how urgent the crisis is, whether that's a crisis of human rights, of wars that make profit for certain people, climate action. So this is about you. Whoever has participated in this program, I often say there's a difference between the menu card and eating the meal. So even though Megan and I are sharing what we feel, people are giving you testimonials, till you really go through it, the joy of being able to unfold your full potential, that is profound. So that's the first point. You matter, your joy, how you craft this. And that is what is different between this and other leadership programs.
Monica, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. What about?
Oh, I'll go into the Spanish, or yeah, okay, perfect. Thank you. I'm sorry, Monica. You may continue.
I'm figuring out
Okay,
interpretation.
Robin. Okay, Robin. So it's not that other leadership programs don't work on who I am and how I think and what I stand for. The difference is there are 42 tools and templates that connect who you are to systems change, to action. And here's the second point. Every large organization working for human well-being, for planetary well-being, is asking one question worldwide. What are the systems and cultural norms that give rise to the problems? We've known solutions for climate action for 60 years. Why hasn't it worked? Well, it hasn't worked partly because we did not tap into the greatest asset in humanity, you and me. So systems change, cultural transformation generated by participants, not by an outsider prescribing the change, that systems change based on equity and dignity for all. That's what's unique. There is truly, I have studied over 200 programs because I'm asked by many people to come and join their leadership programs. And I usually bring in what is different. You know, they ask me to bring in what's different. Systems change in a simple way. We don't need a triple PhD to do that. It's Donella Meadows from MIT who said, everybody has a pattern mind, and everybody can be, if they choose to be, irrespective of levels of formal education, be a systems change person. And that's the issue, because we have been working on projects after projects, and guess what? We haven't got the results we want to see. And one missing piece in that is the ability to shift patterns within a system and elsewhere. So this work is about systems change in an accessible, easy, specific, results-oriented way. And when it suddenly strikes you, wow, you are that systems transformer. And then the third thing that I know, most of us, I definitely know United Way, and I know many other organizations, NGOs, people in government and business, they care about is that everybody authentically participates, that we move from token participation of simply having people share opinions to participation of people when people are able to generate multiple perspectives for solutions to the problems they have. So we move from opinions and we move from the space of making planning, strategic planning, an elitist process to strategic planning and everybody's process. Because that is the foundation of the next global movement for peace and equity. Of that, we have no doubt. So how do we design the next global movement for peace and equity, transcending polarized conversations, us versus them, and whatever happens because of that? The fourth point I want to bring in is alignment and synergy. It's an issue all donors speak about, all large agencies speak about, all field-based agencies speak about. Why? Because we each need a unique spot. This is not about, having a cookie cutter approach. Everybody does the same thing. This is about retaining your expertise, your talent, your niche, and be able to align with the shifts that are required. And this has been one of the reasons why large organizations, including the United Nations, right now, governments, they want to use these tools, the conscious full spectrum response model, because it's the foundation of aligning, which means we move in the same direction, generating synergy, which means we have exponential impact. And guess what? Guess what this means? This means that you and I engage with sophisticated simplicity so that everybody can participate, that every project matters, provided it's based on universal values of equity and dignity, provided we really respect each other as human beings, are able to speak truth to power, and we generate results. The last point I want to make is one that is a big issue in business, It's a big issue in governments. It's a big issue in United Nations. It's a big issue in large NGOs. We do not scale up niche, fantastic projects. We have a theory that sharing best practice will work. And you and I know that best practice is best based on the best of human beings. And that best practice is different because the context is different. We apply it and the individuals are different, and change is so rapid. We are dealing with a pace of change we've never seen before. Change in technology, whether that's AI or anything else, change in the political milieu of where we function, change in the way in which we have hijacked values to make it a marketable space. So there is change that you and I need to work with. So how do we scale up? And we use a word fractal, which is from physics. And it says a pattern can repeat itself. Nature is full of fractals, like a snowflake. In this work, every project, provided it is designed in an appropriate way, is a fractal for large-scale change. Large-scale change locally, large-scale change in the state, in the nation, and in fact, in the world. I always look at every node as a global hub. And I know, Megan, that you are looking at this primarily for the Americas, North America and Spanish-speaking South America. Anybody has relatives, friends in South American countries, Latin American countries, Latin American, speaking Spanish, not Brazil, that's Portuguese. Invite them into this place. It's truly wonderful because there's a wonderful cultural backdrop. In most countries, in the South American countries, I work a lot there, basically through the UN, a sense of equity, a sense of asking the right questions. Invite them. This is bilingual. And thanks to Maribel and others, Kaki and others, we are even going to have a Spanish version of the book. So Maribel, thank you so much. And I meant to send you an email, thanking you. So that's what I wish to say. And Megan, you are my time manager. So you said no more than 15 minutes. Well, I did want to show the conscious full spectrum response.
We can do that. We have time, no problem.
All right. So, Robin. So what I want to point out a few things here. I want to point out, firstly, the title. You know, it's a joke. I didn't do a marketing exercise. A lot of business people came to the UN and said, what you're doing is full spectrum. Okay, I said it'll be full spectrum. But then I go to Vietnam and they say, oh, you're from the US military, right? I said, no, I'm from UN. They said, no, military has a full spectrum dominance program of space. I said, no. I added the word conscious that day. But the title is important because of the word response. There is an intellectual fallacy that says that if I understand and I use an understanding framework, I will respond to the model. I'll respond to the problem. Sorry. It's not correct. Anyone who's worked at scale and locally knows understanding why something happens is not how you respond. Because if I took that to the world of medicine, I understand anatomy of my body and physiology. But when I heal and I treat a symptom, I don't use just anatomy and physiology. I see how the body functions and how our body is an interrelated set of systems. So response models, this is a response model. Second point to note, you note that all of us work on each of these domains. Now, I wish I could show you a three-dimensional domain. Many artists have attempted doing it, but it's sort of confusing. So there is a domain of your leadership. Most probably everybody's done leadership programs, some leadership program. And I have pointed out how this is different from the others, but every leadership program has something valuable. All of us have done something on systems and cultural change, behavior change, competency development. And all of us have worked on how to introduce technical interventions. Robin, for example, did a fantastic piece on coordinated entry for those who are without homes. And yes, it was a technical intervention because she did lots of fancy graphs and charts, but it was also a systems transformation. But it was based on values. And so notice that we are connecting who you are, which is the outside domain, with how you think, which is how you think about systems and culture, with what you do. And in the world of evidence and analysis, we have evidence that this model works. We have evidence that we address the immediate causes of problems at scale in 60 countries, working on HIV and AIDS, and many other issues. I bring up a problem you're familiar with. We have evidence that the systems changed. The system in pharmaceutical industry changed from making profit out of the medication to having generic drugs that were made by Cipla in India. And needless to say, it was not like everyone was clapping. It had to go through its conflicts. There are cultural causes, things that changed. So from having people leave a village in Cambodia, they had them come back they had to leave because of stigma and discrimination. And they came back and worshipped in the same temples. So we changed treatment patterns worldwide. We changed the systems and cultural causes. And then notice there is the outside, the broadest part, the deepest part, that's you. And so we call it underlying factors because this is in epidemiology and metrics, an a-causal domain. So you cannot have the same metrics. You need proxy indicators. And you need indicators that actually capture are founded on universal values. So it looks simple. It's simple to work. It's sophisticated. It addresses systems and culture, and it addresses the emergence of unfolding your full potential. And we call that root factor, because the root of everything that is happening that's man-made or human-made is us, me. So I am that factor. So we will be joyfully walking through this. Over to you, Robin and Megan.
Thank you so much, Monica, for sharing and for being with us. I'm going to turn it over to Robin for Q&A.
All right, may I leave?
Yes, Monica, thank you so much.
Okay.
Good to
Bye,
see you.
everyone. And all of you who are present today, can you please bring 20 people each? Bye. And Maribel, activate your Spanish people in Mexico. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Monica.
Bye.
All right. Well, now there must be some questions. We spend hours and hours with that diagram that Monica shared. So when you join us for the program, that will be unpacked in detail and applied to the work that you care about. Fully acknowledge that it can be a little confusing, and that's part of what it's all about, is retraining the way my brain thinks about how to solve problems and integrating those three pieces of universal values, systems and norm shifts, and action. All right, so any questions? Feel free to raise your hand with the electronic hand feature. Feel free to put it in the chat. Feel free to raise your real live actual hand. I've got gallery view on. I can see those of you that have video, which is lovely. All right. Well, great. We've got some folks who are sharing that they're interested in learning more. So we have our website, which has a lot of details in it. We are available. You can email us. Our information is on the website. We can also put our emails in the chat. Perfect. Perfect. Jenny, thank you. Can you give some examples of projects that people work on? That's exactly what we were going to move to next. So let me share a slide. Oh, let me get it visible. Right. So like Megan said, the project piece, it truly, truly isn't about creating the largest, most impactful project you can possibly think of and imagine of on the planet. Although if you want to come with that project, please do. It really is about it. It's more impactful when I come to this program with a project that I'm currently working on. So these are some of our, examples of larger scale projects that folks were either already working on or had been thinking about for a while, or did have that, that large goal that they're like, this is my opportunity to really bring this to fruition. So we have a couple examples here. EDMO is a youth serving organization in Marin. Really applied these tools, really thought about how can we make this program more equitable, more sustainable for the community. How can we change the way that we run our practical policies and practices in terms of tuition and scholarships to be able to serve more people. They implemented a honor-based tuition scale where families who were signing up for the program could choose to pay what they could. And it worked really well. And a lot of families paid more than what was previously the tuition so that other families could participate. In Santa Cruz County, we had a county-wide youth homelessness initiative that Shebra led that piece along with other RTL alumni. I was part of the team that would participate in regular meetings in designing that initiative, and really used the tools and templates that RTL provides in designing it from the start, really with youth leading the process. And through that, we were able to see a large reduction in youth homelessness in our community in 3 years, and people participated differently in a different way, in a sustainable way. So these are some larger projects that that RTL has been applied to, but you can bring anything. So my first project that I brought 10 years ago was around a coalition that I was the coordinator for. On paper, my job was to create the agendas and convene the organizations and gather a presenter to share about best practices in serving youth. And through applying this framework to that, I did it differently. And I really invited everyone at the table to really think about what they care deeply about and what were some of the systems that we could look at shifting. And did we have data around what we were working to achieve? And we started doing the same things differently to work together in a more impactful way. People have brought projects that are based on shifting the culture in a team or a workplace. Let's see. Megan, Shebra, would you like to share a couple more examples of projects that people have brought to this program?
Sure. Yeah, just seeing we have only a few minutes left and want to just invite people again to chat us if you have any other questions outside of this. But Shebra, have any specific examples you've want to add?
I can just quickly share that I serve on the Santa Cruz City Council, and when I first ran for City Council 3 years ago, I used these tools to campaign differently, to message my messaging from a place of universal values and really articulate the problems that we need to solve and the systems that need to be shifted in order for us to solve those problems. And I saw a different response. Clearly I was voted in, and the tools can be used across a variety of spaces, including as an elected official. And I continue to use it now as a council member when I look at policy issues.
And Shebra, you also, I mean, just to reiterate that this can be used in everyday spaces. And again, like the size of the scale of the project doesn't necessarily matter as much as how strategic it is, but you use these tools to write grants and have done so very successfully. So it's even just those everyday activities that many of us have to do to sustain efforts. Using these tools to keep people together differently, think together differently, and write grants has been really powerful. I don't know if you want to say a word or two before we close.
Well, actually, I'll just share that I heard yesterday that we were awarded a very competitive federal grant, $1 million grant here in Santa Cruz County to help support children who've been exposed to violence. And I used the 3-circle tool, the conscious full spectrum response tool, to lead us through that grant design process, as well as another tool that if you join, you will learn more about the transformational results chain. Super competitive grant, multi-sector partner, lengthy process to put the grant together. Again, I think maybe 18 were awarded across the nation. And we just found out that we were awarded that yesterday, last night. Fresh off.
Congratulations. Yeah. That's, I mean, one of my favorite stories about that is that HUD, the federal level told you, wow, you're doing things differently. We want to know more, because they saw that the people that you were bringing together were thinking differently. So the proof is in the work and the results. And we know that's why you're here and what you care deeply about. Otherwise, you wouldn't be spending this time with us. So thank you all so much for being here. Thank you to all our alumni who are here to share, to Robin and Shebra and Monica and Maribel for providing interpretation today as well. So we will be following up with slides, a link to this recording, and our contact information. Please feel free to be in touch if you have questions about thinking through a project or something that you heard today, or maybe something you didn't hear today that you want to know more about. We are happy to talk with you one-on-one. So we will see you soon, and hopefully we'll see you on this journey together starting in January. Take care, everyone.